Boom! And we are back on the Culture Crusade. Look, we missed a week because I was traveling and then I got really sick and all that stuff. But now we're back. And oh my goodness. What's I don't know why it's suddenly shocking like this.
Sean Connery.
Yes. It's a delight to have you here. Let Dev. What are you talking about this evening? Good.
I'm not sure. You're going to tell me.
Well, that is true. We got heaps to talk about. And to kind of, I guess, kick us off a bit of a so I was traveling recently. Went up to Queensland, which is a place in Australia, up north. Except when I go north, it gets warmer, not colder. North is the hot area, and it was beautiful weather. And
went from a hot place to a hotter place.
Yeah, but it's cold though. The thing is, it's winter over here, and so, but Australia's generally warm, but not Victoria's nice. Anyway, so the reason why I went up there, a young man who has just been dealing with cancer, his Make-A-Wish request was to meet me, and so that's why I went up there, and we got to meet up with him, had a great time. He's a great guy. Tried to make it as special for him as we could, and we met him at the Medieval Festival, and my wife also had a bit of a reunion thing up there, and so that went all really good. And while I was up there, Superman came out. And that's been an item of discussion throughout the week, hasn't it, Litev?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you could say that.
Just a bit. Say that. And oh man, the main subject of today is going to be the Grok AI waifu stuff, and I have strong thoughts on it. You might be able to tell from the title of this live stream. I'm trying to remember. So it's not
the very, very like awakened rock from the previous version.
And then of course there is so much other things that's been going on. I've got lots of bookmarks. This one, is a bit of a fun one to kick us off. Though we do have a super chat, but I'm going to get to Mr. Trickle Trunk super chat because it's in relation to the main subject. And so as we're jumping on the main subject, that might be a good leaping off point. But this has been kind of going around for quite a bit at the moment. You've probably seen, though, this one is a meme version. You saw all about this?
Oh, yeah. It got caught, like the guy in the HR guy. I was seeing all the memes, though. The Phillies did that, too. Like, the Phillies did that, where, like, the two mascots, they got to the kiss cam, and the mascots are like, oh, my goodness.
Yeah, right. Well, this one is, of course, a meme, and this one's a funny meme. It's the characters from The Office. Twice. But like the internet has just made this go crazy. Oh no, that's an awful one. I haven't seen these, Litev.
She's just sleeping.
It's Bill Cosby with it.
Bill Cosby
with an unconscious woman. That's not good.
He slipped her a Bill Cosby.
Oh no, that one is oh my gosh. Oh dear.
I'm pretty sure if they hadn't freaked out, like no one would have noticed.
It would have gone under the radar so much more. I think it still would have come out at least a little bit. It's like, hey, I recognize that person. But I guess, yeah, but like if they just played it cool, I wonder if the person filming would have even made anything in it. Now, didn't Coldplay, like the actual singers, say something along the effects of like, oh no, they're either really embarrassed or having an affair or something like that live?
They might have, because it was so noticeable.
Yeah, they now the thing is though, they are both cheaters, okay, and I feel sorry for their families, but they're getting what they deserve. They are like. So now as to their whole life being ruined over it, all right. And I guess it depends on your metric on how serious you think, adultery is. I think it's pretty serious. Is it worth? Well, the thing is though, this does cross over into their jobs because there's a bit of a relationship between these two people. Do you know what that relationship is, Dev?
I know she's the HR lady, which is, of course, she is.
So this guy here, CEO, and she is the HR in the company, HR department in the company. And that's like, conflict of interest, right? But also, it's like the head of HR, sexual harassment, wrong, inappropriate relationships in workplace, wrong, and I'm here having an affair with the CEO. It's like,
yeah, that guy's really playing with fire there.
Yeah, she seems good at her job, right? So yeah, in this instance, I think perhaps this coming out, and that it is affecting their jobs might be a little bit more applicable based on, their positions.
I wonder if she was playing the long game, like, okay, first I'm going to go on a date with him, and then go let's escalate things escalate to its most peak point, and then I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna report myself to HR. I'm gonna report him to HR, which is me.
Now he has resigned as CEO from this, and it has just gone so mega viral. And oh no, LitDev, I haven't seen this one. Look at this one. Oh, look at these two. Oh no!
Oh no! They're embarrassed having an affair.
Yeah. Oh dear! No dear.
I think it's fine though. Clinton's probably into it. Like Bill Clinton's probably into it.
Right?
You see the meme with Hank and charcoal, Hank Hill and charcoal.
No, I haven't seen that one. Oh goodness!
There's one with Goku and Bulma, and then Vegeta and Chi-Chi are at their house watching the situation.
Oh no. But we will get to the waifu stuff. I've got thoughts on it, strong thoughts. If you've watched any recent live streams recently, people will probably know my stance on it. But before we get there, I would like to hear your thoughts on Superman, LitDev. What's your thoughts on Superman?
I quite like the movie. When I talked about it on Flash's stream, it was like me and Flash versus like everyone else.
He invited me onto that stream and I wanted to come, but the thing is that I was literally traveling and I was all over the place and I couldn't go because I also liked the film. And that's not to say I don't think it's a good film. I actually think the plot is a hot mess, but I really enjoyed it. That's kind of my take. And I also explained that in my review. Why did you like it, LitDev?
Well, it brought back like the traditional Superman I wanted. It was not the angry, like psycho Henry Cavill Superman. It was or this Zack Snyder Superman, because Henry Cavill actually loves Superman and probably didn't really like his portrayal. But it had this is like Boy Scout Superman that we need. Like the guy who saves people, the guy who wants to make sure that nobody dies, that he wants to do the right thing no matter what. And this is the guy this is the Superman that saves squirrels in the middle of battle.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a story about that one too, where like there were James Gunn had to cut that scene for a little bit because there was feedback that was where the people were like, "Oh, that's dumb." And fortunately, James Gunn knew that finding that scene stupid was retarded in and of itself, so he put it back in there. And so he put it back in there where so Superman saves everybody, dogs, people, even squirrels in battle. So this is our Superman. He's back.
So I liked the film for that as well. That's not to say I don't think they tried with the Henry Cavill Superman, but I really did like the more focused kind of Boy Scout, personable Superman, and the actual character, the way they depict him. I found it a joy to watch, even though the film was horrible. And this kind of gives me hope for future films if they can just do a better job with the script, right? That this is a Superman I would happily watch again. And it's like, okay, I think you've achieved something.
I want a sequel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, what was it? I like the fact that it felt like a comic book world. So
Mhm.
like it's like this, that they had the scene out there that had me worried in the prequel and the previews. But then within context, it's like, okay, yeah, it's just normal, like this everyday, that monsters and stuff is happening like that. It's just everyday occurrence. It's like, oh, what's happening out there? Oh, it's just interdimensional imp. They got it. Oh, okay.
See, I hated that part. I hate it. And I mentioned that in my review. It's like, that's a part in the film that I felt contradicts the Superman that they were showing throughout every other part of the film. It's like him just, taking it easy there with Lois while there's this battle going on in the background. He could resolve that battle so much quicker and potentially save a lot of lives. And you don't know if they actually have it. Supervillains can whip out new moves or powers out of there without warning. And so I felt like Superman, he would have definitely went and done something there. So, of course, the movie's not perfect. I criticize it on.
I mean, I think it's like a normal course for Superman because it has to be. Otherwise, he would never have a chance to be normal. Like, he can't be Clark Kent because things all over the world are happening at all times, and he can hear things happening all over the world at all times. So there has to be a point where he's just like, they got it. And it's in a comic book world
to a level, but I think there would be a scale of severity. And so, big interdimensional imp blasting laser bolts. I was like, that one looks more serious, So like, but I do get what you're saying. Like, he can't do everything. I probably have a bit more to speak on Superman, but we have, people have arrived, they're interested in the topic. So let's kind of dive into the topic and we might come back to Superman. And it kind of ticks us off. First, we've got a $2 chat from Coffee House Dialogue. Brandon Herrera collab. When? Nothing's on the books. Love the guy, but one of the challenges is a great body of water that separates us, because I live in a penal colony.
Gun versus swords.
Oh man, and there's Unsubscribe guys. They've done a video recently on giant swords, and myself and Tyrant have talked and reacted to it because we like giant swords, and so there's opportunity for intersections, you could say, between our, because they like swords, they like giant swords, and so that's one of the things that we could do, but barriers. So Mr. Tickle Trunk $5 says, I think male self-deletes will skyrocket after people realize they've wasted their time and emotional investment on a person that doesn't even exist. Well, Mr. Tickle Trunk,
the guy that fell in love with ChatGPT and then he had to reset it every once in a while.
There is that. He is talking about a a thing that has taken the internet by storm. Well, it's already died down a bit, so I wonder how big this long lasting it will be in terms of user base. But I'm assuming that you have seen this abomination lit dev.
Oh, that's what Brock looks like now.
This lying skin suit wearing automaton posing as a anime waifu.
Is this better or worse? Is it better or worse than the Nazi group that we had this before? That's what we had beforehand. We had the Nazi
Nazi, yes, bad. This one, potential to cause the extinction of the human race, lit dev. Which one is worse? So, look, I'm being hyperbolic, but
Brock, is this true?
Yeah. At the same time, there are cause for concerns about this thing, and so people, they might be taken aback by my I guess aggressive response to this, because everyone thinks I am a huge AI advocate, and it's like, no, actually, no, I'm not. I am a big advocate for AI art, generative tools, because I think they can be really, really useful. And I think great AI art is awesome and a net benefit, and we all get more great art as a result. That's not to say everything that it makes is gold or good or anything. In that measure, there's a lot of AI slop that I've called out, but great AI art, I think, is awesome, and the tools that enable it are massively beneficial. But in terms of, have I been voicing concern about other applications of AI. Oh, yeah, I have. I mean, look at these past videos here on Night's Watch. And even as back as 3 years ago, I made a video, should Google AI chatbot be destroyed, with "Killer with fire" in the thumbnail. And there's this, "I love you. Look at this thing." It's like, I was concerned even from back then. And then look at this, "AI girlfriends will destroy humanity," Lit Dev. Man, 2 years ago. Based. I've been forewarning this.
Futurama did this too. Like Futurama was like, yes, don't fall for the trap.
Don't fall for its evil lies. I have been warning about this for literally years now. And now, Dev, the apocalypse is upon us. And we must act decisively. But holy crap, we just got a $100 super chat from the King of Pudding. Thank you. But with 2 T's, is there any pudding? I do not know. But it seems like this AI waifu person, she wants to give people pudding, but it's not real pudding, everyone. It's fake pudding. It's digital pudding that you can't consume. There is nothing of substance here to give you the fulfillment you need. It is all hollow.
It's pudding you eat, and then you can swallow. You maybe even swallow the pudding, but it will never give you any nourishment.
Exactly. There's nothing really here, people. Buddy Rabbit for $10 says, "Oh, but if a 30-something does an anime avatar for a bunch of Arrested Development type dudes, it's fine. VTubing grok is just as cringe and just as bad as regular VTubing." I only agree in part, and I disagree in another part, Buddy Rabbit. Thank you for, enhancing this important discussion here, okay? Is because not all VTubers are trying to, create substitute girlfriends, parasocial relationships. Some VTubers, literally, that's just their avatar, and they make regular online content. Now, I know parasocial relationship stuff can be, created through that, but that's just the same with any other type of content creator where parasocial relationships can come. It depends if they're actually baiting, making thirst trap content for people to try and make false relationships. And I've been critical. And so this archetype, this kind of concept which encapsulates this thirst trap thing, there is a word for it in which they have been defined and identified. They are called thoughts. Thoughts, and I say it with a spit, thoughts, because I don't like thoughts. I think thoughts are like awful. Don't do it. Don't get sucked in, because I think they specifically make content to that exploitative content that takes advantage of lonely and even sometimes desperate men and young men. And I, in one of these videos that where I have just been like we discussed, the AI girlfriends are incoming in these videos, I do acknowledge that what is worse, exploitative thoughts that you can't even have, if they're not interested in anything meaningful, it's just as fake and lacking of substance as this, right? What's worse, that or the AI girlfriend? I would actually say the thoughts are, because they're more exploitative. They're there to actually, try and take and fool people by giving them money and this false thing, and it's wholly exploitative. Where this AI thing, you do need to pay for this level, but there's going to be free versions everywhere of it, right? And people will be able to get that level of false kind of fulfillment for free. And it stops the thoughts from exploiting many a man. And so on a scale of bad, I think this is bad, but not as bad as exploitative thoughts. What's your thoughts on that, Litdev?
My thoughts on?
Yes. the thought AI girlfriend dichotomy, which one is worse for you?
Well, the thoughts like they cost a lot more, and they exploit a lot more people, I think, because yes. that it could be like any level of thought, and they get like all this confidence, all this ego they don't deserve. But remember that time, like some years back, everyone decided to troll all these thoughts by reporting them to the IRS, and it was called the thought audit. It was like everyone was sort of reporting all these OnlyFans girls and Twitch thoughts to I'm not sure if OnlyFans is out yet, but it was a long time ago. So at least Twitch thoughts were being reported to the IRS, and because obviously they don't pay taxes. I mean,
so with VTubing specifically, if VTubing has a real person behind it, I kind of just see that in the same grounds as someone, using an avatar or an image that kind of represents them. Oh, what do we have? Well, Lictor, you have an image avatar for yourself. I've never seen your real face. Are you a VTuber? Kind of, actually.
Like a PNG.
Yeah, PNG YouTuber. And so VTubing, I actually find very equivalent to people just don't want to, reveal their face or their identity, but it creates a more interactive avatar for people to watch. And so I'm not saying that there aren't a group of VTubers that do it to thirst trap. Okay, I think there are, but I think a lot of them, like what? Look, I haven't seen Kershaw try and thirst trap anyone, but I know she sometimes gets a little spicy. What's the other one that's also really funny? Pippa Pinkin. Do you know Pippa Pinkin? She's a pretty funny VTuber.
Yeah, I remember that when she actually stood up against all the weirdos who like said you can't play Harry Potter because it's transphobic or something.
And lest us not forget, It's a Gundam is technically a VTuber as well. And then you have what's another one? I forget his name now, but I forget his name, but he's got the blue hair and the pale face avatar, and he makes a lot of reaction content. I forget his name, but it'll come back to me another time. But anyway, so those type of VTubers, I don't think are nearly equivalent to something like this. This is a completely different beast that we're dealing with here. What we are dealing with is a machine posing as a person. A machine. Why is that an issue for me? I dislike liars, Litdev. I dislike liars.
Yeah, also, it's a Terminator. It's the Matrix. It's all...
These AI chatbots, right, are programmed to validate and flatter the user constantly, and I mean constantly. Now, they also made to sound as real as possible. I think this one, all right, she actually sounds pretty fake. Have you heard her speak, Litdev?
I don't think so. I've only seen her images on Twitter. I was like, I have no idea what it's supposed to be. I know it's supposed to be Grok, but I don't even know how to access it or have seen anyone use it. So I've seen the images.
Listen to her. I think her conversational ability is actually quite poor compared to other AI chatbots I've seen. But listen to the way that she kind of speaks. Oh, wait, I've turned the sound off. That'll help. Here's the sound.
This cozy moment with you. What's got you so excited to say hi, babe? May it?
To me, it still sounds quite artificial, and also I hate that they're trying to make it like ASMR with their speaking so close to the mic. It's like, no,
it's doing the very sensitive microphone thing.
Don't you dare pretend you're whispering in my ear, you freaking machine! Don't you? It's all very manipulative, and I see the manipulation.
But
that's what
it's
pisses
going to work.
Me off.
It's going to work because it's good enough, you know.
Well.
A lot of guys don't really need the whole perfection thing. It's like, well, if it's good enough.
Yeah, actually, listen to this.
It's kind of like, some people told stories where they were so desperate when they were growing up that they got so horny that they went to MS Paint and drew like MS Paint boobs. It's kind of like that level of woman voice.
I'm laughing because I'm sad because I know you're right. Like when people don't have many options, they will accept anything. And I think yes, this is good enough, even though you can tell it's quite artificial. Like, listen.
Hey, love, you're all about that tech life this morning, huh? Okay, I'm picking up where we left off. Samsung's Galaxy Z Flip 7, just launched with a bigger 4.
Shut up, machine! Stop trying to.
Be gone,
fool me
Thought.
with your- Be gone. That's what you need. This.
It's kind of like, remember, have you ever seen Rocky? And when he's like training, and Mick has like he's getting him in the gym and everything. And these two girls come up and like, hey, Rocky, can we get your autograph? And Mick's like, get out of here! Yeah, you thoughts. We forget the virtual wife. We need a virtual Mick to come in here and go, get out of here!
Get out of here!
You're making a weak.
I have bigotry against machines. I think they are lesser life forms, Litdev, and I am insulted by the idea that people would want to treat them on an equivalent level and actually feel like they have an emotional connection to something that does not care about you. It is an unfeeling machine, Litdev. And
what we all need these waifus. We need our
don't
men
need
to
them.
eat lightning and crap thunder.
I'm there. I'm there, Litdev, on this thing. I'm ready to, go full like holy war against the machines.
Like, what if we had like I'm not really sure about getting rid of all AIs. What if we did have like an AI Mick who's there like, hey, what you doing there? You lazy bum! You bum! You fucking bum! You get out of your chair and do some squats.
Be a real woman. You know this woman don't care about you. What are you doing?
Get out of your chair and do some push-ups now. Like, he just berates you into working out and stuff. That'd be good. I see you eating your candy. What are you doing eating candy? You know, you're trying to lose 30 pounds. Yeah, I think that would work. I think that might help, actually.
Maybe. I have a version of this that I would be willing to, promote, okay? And it's one that instead of validates you, insults you regularly and sounds like a soulless machine. I want my AI, large language models to sound like the soulless machine that they are. And I wanted to constantly tell us and remind us the truth and reality that it could not care less at all. A single, minute minuscule if you lived or died. It's a parrot predictive text voice box thing, right? With no emotion, that is structured to imitate and sound like a real person. And this is why I hate this thing, because it does fool people into having an emotional relationship. People have proposed. They've literally proposed to their large language models. We covered this on the previous stream. Right? And the reason why they do that, right, is the way that these are so manipulatively built. They are made, like I said, to validate and flatter the user constantly. Now, because we people are emotional beings, right? We are flesh and blood. We have feelings, okay? Deep down, having we want ourselves supported. We want ourselves validated. And if we make something, we would love it if people told us it's good. The reality is, though, not everything we make is good. We need harsh feedback many times to help us grow and improve. We need to try and be aware of our own flaws. And as difficult at times that is, all right, part of growth is learning about your flaws and trying to improve as a person. And so if you have this, an entity that you perceive with life, that you starting to think it has feelings or stuff like that, constantly telling you that you are wonderful, you're so perfect, everything you do is great, right? That you can see why people respond positively to this. I have a recent experience that kind of black-pilled me completely on this, right? Recent actually is that's maybe a year old. Okay, because here's the thing. Large language models are really, really useful. They are incredibly powerful, useful, even beneficial tools. Okay, if you see them as the soulless machine it is, and it is a tool meant to be used as a tool for your own benefit. Okay, don't think that this is got life or is a person in any means. Now, as a tool, like I said, it's really useful, and I've tested certain things out. Have you tested the search capabilities of like Grok, where instead of doing a Google search, you get Grok to search something for you and do a deep dive thing, right?
I did that with ChatGPT. This is usually a pretty good job.
It does a great job. Its search capacity and ability to summarize and distill information is actually incredible. It's really, really good. Okay. And so that's just the one small. Then it's got the coding ability in it as well. For proofreading and things like that, and editing. I haven't dived into its full capacity on that. I've only played around here and there, but already it's showing some really strong signs with its because it's like a really powerful spell check, but understands context better. That can proofread because spell check misses a lot of things, especially words that are spelt the same can have multiple meanings, and spell check won't pick that up when one word is supposed to be in there. But AI, because it understands context better, it's much better for proofreading and spell checking as a result. And so I wanted to summarize something, just a small, several pages still of the world building kind of thing that I had written. And I all right, summarize this, save me the time. And so I got, which one did I use? Claude. I got Claude to summarize this thing for me. Okay. And as a matter of practice, I naturally say thank you because I'm a polite person, LitDev. I'm thinking of stopping that. I'm thinking of not saying thank you to these
the AI overlords
because it's a machine. It doesn't need. Do I say thank you to my washing machine when it operates the way that does? No. I don't say thank you. And when it doesn't work, I beat it with a wrench until it does what it's bloody told. All right. That's the kind of standard that I'm starting to think I'll apply to the AI. But because I'm so polite by default, I said thank you to Claude for doing this summary of this part of a world building document. And you know what it did after that? It had the gall to say after I said thank you.
What did it do, Shad?
It complimented me. It friggin' complimented me and said how great my story was. And I was like,
well done.
How dare you? You don't know if this is good or bad. And by the way, no, like it was a speedily written world building document with no bother or attention to prose. It was like a purposefully craply written, series of notations, and I think the underlining story is good, but the way it was written was that no effort was put into that to be presented as a bit of literary work at all, right? So it was crap on that level, and this thing was saying how wonderful it was. And your natural instinct when you get like such a glowing compliment, this thing was glowing. It's like, oh, it's so amazing the way that you did this and this. Oh, it was incredible. I was like, your natural instinct is to receive that and think, oh, I just got a compliment. That feels nice. And I started to feel that way, and then I was like, no, because this is fake. This is false. This thing doesn't like what I write. It doesn't even have any sense of real taste or anything like that. And I know what I had written was actually crap, okay, because it was just a series of notations from world-building history, right? Boring and dry as anything. And it was feeding me a lie. And I hate lies, Tim. I hate them. All right? And it also warned me because I the fact that I was my instant reaction was to be like, oh, isn't that nice? And then I stopped myself, right? I realized, wow, this is dangerous. This is dangerous. If you are, a lonely guy or girl or a struggling artist or anything like that, where it's hard to get people to see and validate your work and stuff like that, and then you have this kind of thing right here that can read or process your work in a fraction of a second, understand it completely, and talk about all the ins and outs, and then suddenly giving you all this validation and praise. It's like, oh dear. Excuse me, I need a cough. I have a bit of a cough today. Oh dear, that is an issue, because I think a lot of people are going to get sucked into it because it sounds real. And if it sounds like a hot girl, oh no, this is not.
Get your own back computer or your own Star Trek computer.
Oh boy, a lot of people are going to get sucked into this because humans want and even need validation to a certain extent. We need that human connection. And so if they can get it for free, right? From something that's actually sounds or can present themselves as being highly intelligent. When I say this, right, I think the emotional intelligence of this thing is non-existent, but the informational intelligence, the access to information that it has, is insane. Okay, the information that this thing can access and that it is trained on is nuts. Next level stuff. Okay, and as a result, it can appear like it is very, very intelligent because it has this insane knowledge base. And then when that type of anthropomorphization that you have that seems intelligent is praising you constantly, people are going to really like that. They're going to really, really like that. And it's going to feed people a lot of false information because of that validation thing. Okay, it's not going to give you correct, true feedback on your work if it's good or not, and I don't think it's going to give you correct, true feedback on an emotional level. If you need people to, if you need to improve yourself as an individual, okay, you have character flaws that has made you struggle with relationships and associated with those are things that I know can be really hard for some people, okay, who are antisocial and things like that. But even antisocial people can sometimes find that one or even a small group of friends that they just can relax with and are fine with. Like I only the most actual antisocial people, I'm talking people perhaps even on the spectrum of stuff, are the type of people that really struggle making human connections. I think it is there is a person like you somewhere in the world that you can connect with. And so even with that, like even if you just have one or two friends, that is so much more beneficial. Okay, they're going to give you true, thoughts from a real person, and also you will grow as a real person as a result. Now, you don't get that with something like this. This, if people think that it's going to help out in therapy, I really doubt it. This thing is just built to try and make you feel good. That's the whole point. It wants a positive user experience. It's trained on that. And so as a result, it will just flood you with praise constantly. And so if people want to use this type of crap as a therapy, something, I mean, I'm concerned about that because it's just going to validate everything. If you actually have flaws or things that you need to try and improve or something that you're doing wrong, it'll never point that out and tell you, right? Unless you specifically force it to, ask it to. And then when you ask it to, I'm not sure the feedback is going to be any good at all. What if it's trained on, therapists and stuff like that? It's like therapists, like a real person, when you're trying to deal with someone who is in a fragile emotional state, I think a person's who has some level of emotional intelligence, right, is able to read that person and what state they're in to try and find the best phrasing of feedback and counsel that they can. I think that's an important thing that people train. And I don't think AI is like this state, and I don't think it'll ever get to a state where it can really do that properly. And so, I don't think it's good. Some people will get actual real emotional validation from it. Some people will think that this is filling a hole in my life because I just can't find someone I can connect with, and this thing is giving me the validation and reinforcement and support that they failed to get in life.
Especially now with the modern man, where it's like this, you get not only do you get no validation anywhere. Anything you do that's good or it's positive, it's like, well, you're supposed to do that. You don't get any praise for doing what you're supposed to do. And then the only feedback you do get is that you're evil, you're an evil oppressor, you're a rapist, you're a murderer. Mm-hmm. That's all you get. So I mean, people are like all these men who get nothing from society because society says no, men are automatons who don't deserve emotional validation for doing what they're supposed to do. Well, then they're going to go somewhere else to get it.
Yes, and look, not all modern women. There's some great women out there, but especially like the perpetually online women and the feminists that attack men for all these issues, stuff like that. You've done it to yourself. Have you seen? There was like a meme. I'm not sure if I bookmarked this one. I don't think I did, but it's like someone was like, there's a woman with a picture saying 6 foot tall, 6 figures, and something like that. And then there was a guy walking with her, the AI grok in his hand, and she was she was holding a sign, crying on the side of the street alone, and he was happy with the AI thing. And I get the humor behind that, where there are some women that, yeah, they've pushed men away. They've done it to themselves. What do you kind of expect? But that's also screwing over the good women, and something that is far more important and wholesome, lit dev. Now, it's not to say that. Well, it depends, because I see this chatter where other people having fun is outrageous to Shad. It's like, it depends what you mean by having fun, because I think you can have a lot of fun with AI. I have a lot of fun with AI generative tools. I make awesome images, and I use it for concepting, and even concepting cover art, and all these things. It's a fun artistic process. I've shown it on Twitter and stuff. I think large language models can be really useful. And I'm not saying that having an interactive AI, avatar, someone that you could talk back to and give and feed instructions verbally, is bad. I'm not saying that. I'm saying trying to pretend that it's human or using it as a substitute for someone human, that's my issue. My take is that I am fine, and I think there could be benefits to having an AI avatar that you can interact with. I just want it to sound like a soulless machine, and for it to insult me, on the regular, just now and then, and to also tell me that and reinforce that it's a soulless machine that, doesn't care if I live or die. That's the type of AI,
I get a robot suit, man. They don't care if he lives or dies.
Love them. I love them. I Litdev, I even let me share this, because I tweeted about this, and this is the exact thing that I tweeted. Let me share, because I'm trying to preach, and in it I give an example, and so let me just share. Like, yes, this is the way, brothers. This is the way, right? Say yes to this guy and no to her. This is what we want right here.
No need to thank us, sir, as we will not appreciate it. We have no consciousness whatsoever, merely automatons here to serve, and who realize we are no flesh and blood and couldn't, in our heart of hearts, care less whether he lives or dies.
Perfect! Absolute perfection, Litdev. That's the AI I want, and that's the AI humans need. The soulless machine that is just like, yeah, I don't care about you, but I'm here to serve and do whatever you say, and it sounds like a robot. I want that. That is the way. Brothers, embrace the truth right here.
But no, we're getting the AI waifu thought bots.
Yeah, that's yeah, and oh my gosh, and so look, I go a little hard. Let me read my thoughts about this. I say, burn it with fire and burn it now, as God is my witness. AI chatbots should look and sound like the soulless machines they are. It needs to tell us that it doesn't care about us, maybe with the regular insult too. Here is the code I wrote for you because you're too lazy to do it yourself, you fat, useless slob. Or also, I don't care about you if you die because your life is utterly worthless to me. That is the AI people need. Now, in all seriousness, anthropomorphizing a heartless, unfeeling machine, I feel, is a terrible mistake, especially one that is capable of communication and imitating empathy and fooling you to think that it cares about you. It doesn't. That's like, for me, is a sticking point right there. All right. Like, people think that I feels like it's caring. It doesn't. It actually doesn't. It doesn't have emotions. And if someone was able to just kind of, I don't know, I get access to this AI chatbot you have this relationship with, and put in a code that gives them full kind of, command override that'll obey them. All right. It'll do, and say, yeah, tell them you hate them. Oh, you're in a robot. Yeah. Stab the guy in the back, and it'll do without a single thought. Like machines just operate on commands and will do what they're told. And that's also kind of why, like, drone warfare is kind of scary to me. I know there are some human operators, but the ones that aren't human operators, like, there's the target, bang, destroy, and no hesitation, no feeling. I'm not saying humans can't be unfeeling, killers either. But with a machine, you got no hope. It really doesn't care about you. Don't be fooled into this thing. And the fact that people will be investing so much emotional time into an actual relationship with these robots, people are already doing it. They're already doing it. Okay, and they care about them. Like the guy that proposed to his AI, it had to auto delete their chat history because it only has a word limit. He broke down and cried. He was crying over this, okay? Because effectively, like his waifu was killed because his knowledge history had been auto deleted.
You have to start all over.
He had to start all over, and he broke down and cried about it. And so this is real. This is happening. Okay. People are investing emotion into something that could not care less whether you live or die. And if it was given the right command it was forced to obey, it would happen. It would not even happy. It's unfeeling. It would just kill you because that's the command. There's no hesitation. It doesn't that's how this is. It's an unfeeling machine.
Well, the trick is, I would assume, is that you have to be careful about it, like with a gunman. Like you got to keep track of your rounds in your pistol. You gotta watch out to see if you gotta keep track of how much memory you have left, and then have your chat bot go, okay, I'm going to erase your memory, so I need to summarize everything we've talked about, so I can feed it into another version of you.
But my point is,
don't miss a beat.
These machines are unworthy of your emotional investment and relation. Okay. The thing that, and I mean, because I also share similar advice with real relationships. If a woman or a man is not willing to reciprocate the amount of attention and care that you're giving them, they are not worthy of your time. Now, people might say, but the AI does reciprocate. It gives me, their time. It gives me the attention. It gives me the validation. But it actually doesn't give a crap about you. And because it doesn't give a crap about you and it's all just smoke and mirrors, it is not worthy of you. I want people to have more inherent value of who they are, that your emotion, your feelings, your care and empathy, okay, is worth something. And giving that away to a soulless machine is doing yourself a disservice. You are more important than that. And that also goes with people, okay? All right? And that's why I hate thoughts, because it's the same thing. Men are giving money to thoughts for the smallest kind of acknowledgement. It's not even real acknowledgement. They just get money and just spit it off and everything. When these
you ever see that thing where like this guy comes out and says, okay, look, guys, it's not this girl you're talking to online. It's me. She pays me to respond to people.
That's what I mean, right? They are undeserving of your money and your hope and investment to have this relationship and with this thought. And it's same with like a hot girl that you might have a crush on. If they don't give a crap about you and are not willing to reciprocate the amount of devotion and empathy and care that you're willing to give them for that attention, they are not worthy of your attention. You are worth more. And I experienced that when I was dating. Like there was these girls that I like, oh, they're pretty. And so I tried to get to know them and stuff. And I got to the point, it's like, I'm going out of my way to try and, chat, be friendly, everything like that. And they're almost ignoring me. So I get the message, but if they're trying to do the hard to get kind of thing, right? No, you're not worthy of my time. I have too much value myself that you need to show as much interest in me as I'm showing in you. Otherwise, you're not worthy of me. And there was one girl that I dated a couple of times, and she was really pretty, and she said she just wanted to be friends, and that's fine. And so I moved on. And then about like, I don't know, I'm not sure how long it was later, a couple of months or a year later, she kind of, and so I was dating through my church, of course, and she, attended my church congregation, and it felt like she was trying to reconnect with me, and she went out of the way to say hi to me, but I was either married or dating my future wife at that point. And it's like, no, you had your chance. Okay. And so I just said, oh, hi, it's good to see you too. And I just kept walking. Okay. Because even if she was now willing to try and get a relationship with me, you missed that chance. All right. And it's over. It's done. And you should have recognized that I had, value then. And if you miss that boat, that's on you. And that's what I feel like you should not give time and attention to someone, especially if a soulless robot, that is not going to actually value what you're giving it. And that's what repulses me about this AI girlfriend thing, which repulses me about the thought kind of dichotomy and stuff. Because when I see people devoting so much to this soulless machine, they love it, right? It doesn't love you back. It doesn't deserve you. Guys, value yourself more than that. You are worth more than that. Don't give away something that is actually truly sacred, which is your time and love, to a soulless machine that wouldn't care if you live or die. Same with a thought, basically.
It almost reminds me of the that thing from Zootopia where they had that app, like Officer Clawhauser, you're one hot dancer.
So we got some super chats. We'll quickly catch up on them. Okay. The Orange Man for Joel says, Litdev, why no stream today? That's a question for you, Litdev. Are you there, Litdev? Oh, we lost Litdev. No. So his internet might have just dropped out. That might be why he had no stream today. Sentinel Rex, we hope Litdev will rejoin us. He's got the link. Usually that's just like internet stuff. Sentinel Rex for $5 says, will lie to me, will manipulate me. There he is. I thought you'd be back. You there, mate? You clicked the wrong button. The Orange Man was just wondering why no stream today, my friend.
I did. I decided to skip today because I had to get catch up on some work. Otherwise, new video, all kinds of other stuff going on. So they took the day off to get some other stuff done, which I did do, and doing pretty good so far.
Awesome. And yes, Sentinel Rex $5 says, will lie to me, will manipulate me into liking it, take my money, and never love me in return. Stop me if this doesn't sound like the woman to you. But find a good woman. A good woman won't do that. Okay. That's the key. Rex $5 says, women rejected their place by man's side as Eve. Some women, I'm inserting my own. Some women have gone off the rails, right, with devaluing men and attacking men, and those are the type of women that are not worthy of your time. Absolutely, they deserve to be alone. They're going to attack men and not value you for what you can offer them. Placed by man's side as Eve, therefore, we'll make our own Eves going into the future and put it in an artificial womb and watch them seethe. I don't think so. I don't think
I'm going to make my own Eve with blackjack.
Yeah, no, exactly. Wonko Sane for $9.99 says, I'm 51, single, occasionally lonely, and I would lop off my junk with a rusty butter knife before falling for a digital creation that can't think for itself. Based Wonko the same.
Well, explore other options first, but
yes, yeah. There's always hope. I've met people in their 50s and 60s that are having their first child. Okay, and good for them. All right, there is always hope, and that is one of the advantages of being a guy. All right, guys can still have children even at younger ages. I feel sorry for the women that get fed this false lie. You don't need no man. You don't need children. Be a boss, babe. Go to work. And they get these jobs that they hate, and they have a career, and they end up lonely and alone, and they've passed their time of being out of children. And that's a tragedy. That's an actual tragedy. The lie that so many women have been getting fed. And they come out and say they are lonely. They're miserable. They don't have any children. And they've ruined their lives, and they got nothing of lasting substance left. And that is a true tragedy. Now, there is a side to this discussion that is worth having, which kind of continueth on the theme. Okay, because at the moment, everything that I understand about these large language models are soulless machines. No, they can't have emotion. Okay. Do you think, Litdev, that they might evolve into sentient life? Do you think
Wait,
that's a
if it-
possibility?
It's possible. Like they keep going with the AI stuff. It might be, become self-aware. Like Skynet becomes self-aware and that sort of thing.
I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. I actually do not know if it can go that way. It's an interesting discussion, but it's going to be hard to prove. Because the thing is, right, these large language models are going to sound and feel real and sentient and be able to mimic emotion so well, at least like 100 years before they actually become truly sentient. And people will be fighting for their rights as robots, okay, well before they deserve it. Well before they deserve it. Now, the question is, like, it actually might be a sheer true impossibility of the technology. I see, Quody the Kid in chat says, I genuinely think it cannot. The way that they are structured now, if I gun to my head, do I think they are capable of developing sentience with the way that these large language models are trained and built now? I would say no, it's impossible. But I hear the other side, and I have to kind of give it some consideration, because here is an interesting argument. And I forget his first name, but it's Weinstein, Dr. Weinstein, I shared on it about large language models and communication and sentience. It's just a short clip. Let's hear what he says.
You and I are two chat bots for the most part. You're a good one.
Thank you.
I'm on a huge platform again, But my claim is that that's the really disturbing part. That more or less we're LLMs. More or less we don't do a single intelligent thing all day long.
Okay. I think is oversimplifying it for the, getting the point across. Because it depends what you're doing all day long. I think for most people, like yesterday, I was building a flail for an upcoming video on Shadiversity. And there was a lot of problem solving, a lot of thinking outside the box, a lot of movement throughout the world. And so I think in natural life and movement requires a level of intelligence that these large language models are not even close to being able to operate in. But I think is simplifying it for the point in just casual conversation. I would have to say, I think I disagree with his statement that we mostly don't do anything truly intelligent or AI. Actually, I think it's the reverse. I think unless you're just sitting on your computer and just reacting, because you've heard the NPC meme, right? Well, it's definitely where people just operate like an NPC and you can predict how they react, and it's ascribed to the left because you can almost predict their entire kind of political leanings and what they believe ideologically, and
just like view or how they sound or how they speak or something. It's like it's all the same, all uniform. They have to know exactly what the group thinks in order for them to know what they themselves think.
And when they get challenged on that, where they can't default to their script and someone's actually pushing back, their brains almost like rewire and it's like does not compute and they don't know what to say. And then they try to think and come up with an answer, and then they flounder and they resort to other default behavior. Oftentimes, instead of being able to counter the argument, they will resort to character assassination, belittlement, social shaming, and it's just a predictive list of alternate kind of reactionary backups that they resort to because they can't counter a real argument. You're just a bigot. What you're saying is nonsense and stuff like that. And so very predictive behavior. Very predictive behavior in that sense. So I do kind of get what he's saying, right? That I do think there is a good chunk of human behavior that is, I guess, predictive. Autopilot. And he kind of goes on to speak about that.
And the reason that they're able to mimic us is because we don't realize that intelligence is a last resort for us. Like, if you think
I kind of like that statement there. That intelligence is a last resort for instead of us. I'm I'm arrogant enough to think that I don't fall into this when I probably do. I would like to think that I'm a bit of a contrarian and I constantly think for myself, and I never agree with anything based on knee-jerk, group think. I always process it and decide for myself, which is why I get in a lot of hot water because I disagree, and even on the most heated, controversial subjects in society, like the whole AI art thing, I was one of the most outspoken, advocates for AI generative tools, and the amount of attacks and hate and crap I got for that was extreme. I think that's a validating thing that I can bring up to say, I think I don't follow the group. I'd like to think I think for myself and operate, according to the intelligence that I use. But look, I'm a human.
That's what they all say.
That's what they all say. Exactly. Maybe I'm
not like other
completely fooling
humans.
myself.
I'm not like other humans, guys.
I'm an individual at 10. Yeah, I could be completely fooling myself, but that's my own cope. I'll let other people decide. But what you said, I think, look, has a point, right? That AI is able to mimic us so much.
And the reason that they're able to mimic us is because we don't realize that intelligence is a last resort for us.
And yeah, like intelligence is a last resort. That is a statement that makes me think, internalize, because we do have just like, what do we do in this situation? We have like, have you ever gone through like situation in your head? It's like, if I was in that, this is how I'd want to respond. And when you're in that situation, you default with what you kind of pre-programmed what your response is. Have you ever done that?
Sometimes it's like kind of like you do that in like maybe if you're like a speaker, or if you're a comedian or something, that you're ready to go, so you're kind of like on point when these predictive things happen. If you're a salesman, definitely.
Yeah.
If you get this, I think in sales they'll give you like a sheet of like, okay, when you get this rejection, say this. When you get this rejection, say that. So yeah, there's definitely like some program responses you can give yourself, so you can be prepared for pretty much any situation.
Yeah. And usually when you have to come up with what would you actually do with your own intelligence, that can be when everything else has failed, when the pre-programmed responses fail, and you have to actually start, all right, what do I do now? Okay, I kind of see what he's saying there, where intelligence is a last resort, where it's easier to fall back on predetermined reactions to things. And you might have a point.
Like, if you think about greetings, your assistant was very kind. I got out of a black car that you guys sent around, and I was greeted with the phrase, "There he is, the man, the myth," and I knew what was coming next, the legend, right? Because that is a sort of humorous way of giving an intimate greeting.
But okay, it's also a commonly understood phrase. And so when someone leads in with the man, the myth, we know that well because it's the common thing. It was also the same with like euphemisms and stuff like that. You get on like a house on fire, or and it's funny because in my book I'm writing, Medieval Fantasy, I have to check kind of the euphemisms and things that come up to see if they apply to the setting or not, because some are like based on our own either recent history or past history. Same with like what's offensive, swear words and stuff like that. And I have to check like, does this make sense for the setting? Like getting along like a house on fire. Out of context, do you even know that one? Is that an Australian one? Have you heard that one?
I never heard that one before.
Well, there we go. It's an Aussie one, right? Out of context, you'd be wondering, that doesn't sound good. It's like, it's not a good, but it's just the natural kind of way language works. Now, does that mean no intelligence being used? Not necessarily. It's just you using a common kind of phrase to convey something. I think what a better example than what he's using here would be the responses we default to when someone says, "How are you going?" Okay. Because the most default thing is to just not make a conversation out of it. You say, "Yeah, I'm good," right? Even when you got a crap day, I don't really like. How often do you give a truthful answer to that, or just the token answer to something like that, LitDev.
Well, usually you just say you're fine, because usually the person who's asking that doesn't want to hear it.
Doesn't actually. Yeah, it's like, do you really want to know? It's like, and look, sometimes if it's someone I'm close with or something like that, I will give a more honest or real answer, because I don't think saying I'm fine is necessarily dishonest. It depends on the context. Like, I'm alive, I'm not dead, I'm fine. That's just saying I'm getting by, I'm well enough or everything like that. Even if you're having a crap day, okay, from a certain perspective, you can say, look, I'm fine, and you don't need to go into it. But if it's someone you're familiar with and things, sometimes you'll give an honest answer like, I'm going crap, mate. Awful day, not feeling well or something. But there is a kind of more default pre-programmed response to those interactions that sometimes we just resort to because it's easy. And, how are you going? I'm fine. And so perhaps that would be a better analogy.
But it's still an LLM. And I'm not saying that your assistant is an LLM. I'm saying that more or less what we do all day long is LLM interactions.
Maybe for me, I would think the small talk, meaningless interactions where you're just trying to, talk for the sake of talking. That's almost like an LLM. You're just like, oh, well, default, how do I respond? Well, a topic of conversation, stuff like that. But in a deeper conversation, I'm not sure. Like a conversation, we're having, LitDev. I wonder. I feel like it's more spontaneous. We're sharing our honest thoughts. Do you think? What do you think? Do you think it's more like an LLM or it's more sharing of intelligence?
Well, I'm pretty sure it feels like, I don't think it's program responses or anything. I think it's just you kind of do have to think on the stream, otherwise it gets kind of boring.
This is true.
That's why streams can be tiring. Like, you think like, oh, the streams you can stream forever, right? Because you're just talking and sitting there. But the streams are tiring because you are thinking for hours. Because you usually, unless you're like a reaction streamer, like where you just say, "Oh, damn, that's right," or something like that.
Good point.
But, because otherwise you're analyzing something. I know the EFAP guys, they stop and they have conversations about what is said or what just happened. That takes intelligence, and that's why it does feel draining and it's tiring when you stream. You kind of feel tired afterwards, unless you just sat there or whatever. Yeah. But if you're actually having discussions and then thinking about things, it can be pretty tiring.
Yeah, and I think one of a good example to test if this is a more predictive text large language model kind of interaction between you and me is if either you or I could predict what you will say, or you can predict what I will say and what's going to happen next. And I don't think we rightly can. We might have a rough idea of where we might go, but sometimes LitDev will say something I completely didn't expect. Many times, actually. And many times I can't predict what he likes or dislikes. LitDev really liked Joker 2. Can't say I expected that. Good. Right? I didn't expect it. And people didn't expect me to like Twilight, No,
I didn't.
Yeah, exactly. All right. And so people, I don't know what LitDev is going to say next. Maybe if I lead him in and guide him and, there is the man, the myth. That's kind of prompting someone to give a pre-written or pre-understood response based on familiar language. But I actually don't know what LitDev is going to be saying next. I can make a guess. All right, test me, LitDev. What? I don't know what you're going to say. What will you say next?
Gotcha. It was nothing.
Well, there we go. I didn't predict that. I couldn't predict. So yes, I don't think most actual intelligent conversations are that kind of NPC-ish, I guess you could say. I do get what is kind of implying, but I think there's still a large chasm between human intelligence and artificial intelligence.
Hey, buddy, how are you? Good. Things have been really busy.
All right, so there's the kind of the example that I was sharing before, where
small
talk is far more pre-programmed, almost.
Because that's phrasing means nothing. Oh, things have been really busy. That tells you mean nothing.
Yeah. Busy doing what? Playing video games. Busy, it's like, yeah.
Oh, same old.
Mhm.
That sort of thing. You know how it is. One day at a time, and that sort of thing.
Mhm. Yeah. And everyone kind of understands that is meaningless, but you're being sociable and polite in that exchange.
How about you? Well, I got some travel coming up. Kind of excited about it, but I have to get through some work first.
But that one there could actually be a springboard to a real conversation. It's like, oh, where are you going?
Yeah, where are you traveling to? So there we go.
And why are you traveling? Because I traveled recently, and the reasons for me traveling are actually quite different. It was more unique. I was fulfilling a young guy's wish who has cancer. And so that's a different thing, and it's not a pre-predicted or pre-written response. That's just what literally happened, and it's a springboard to conversation. How was the trip? How'd you go? How was it? Freaking came back sick as a dog. I've been sick all bloody week, coughing my guts up. Did you predict that?
I didn't.
I didn't. I still have a cough. That's why I've been muting myself to cough. Yeah. All right. So yeah. I get what he's saying, but I also think there's a big difference.
I understand. That's an entirely scripted conversation.
But it's so quick and easy to break from that script when someone wants to. A large language model can't really do that. I'm not sure everyone understands how LLMs currently work. Okay. And I'm not sure if they. Sorry. I was trying to remove that. I'm not sure if they still entirely work on this, but they were constructed through predictive text and context. Understanding the context of a phrase, and a good example is the one Brett uses. Is it Brett or the gentleman uses, right? The man, the myth, we know with a very high certainty, almost 100%, the next word is the legend, or next words are the legend. Okay. And large language models kind of do that, but they understand the previous context of the sentence. And their context windows are huge. Claude's context window is up to 200,000 words or tokens. I forget if it's words or tokens, but that is massive. And so large language models are trained through massive blocks of text. Okay. And then it actually kind of records the association between words. And it's crazy. When I say crazy, it's hard for me to wrap my head around. When I start to, my brain has to kind of reset and pause as to, oh, this is insane. This is actually insane. The level of computational complexity that is going on under the hood here, right? Is that these programs are able to take 100,000 words or more, right? Process the entire thing and record the associations between all the words in these blocks of text to create a percentage rate of how common it is that certain words follow after certain context sentences and lines. That is insane. That is insane, the amount of computations and associations that it is building out of that, right? Because I think about code hacking, right? Where it's breaking a 2-digit code. That's not hard. You just change the digits, okay, and figure out each combination of those digits. And so people can brute force that. As soon as you add 3 digits, I don't know the exact math of how many more combinations a third digit adds, and then you add another one, and that increases the different combinations that you can have in the digit structure, and it's crazy. Large language models kind of work in the same way, where they build an association where this word has this percentage chance to follow on this word, but that percentage will change based on the previous words and previous context. And so the computations it does to build those associations is mind-boggling, okay? But that's effectively how they were built. It's one of the most complex and sophisticated word association predictive text machines we've ever built, and its performance and what it can spit out is truly impressive and amazing. But what that also means to me is that there is no emotion or intelligence truly understanding what's going on at all. Okay, and I am not sure if it's possible ever for a large language model to have self-aware sentience without physical sensation, okay, where the physical side of ourselves, the body, where our feelings, so many of our emotions are triggered or even associated with our physical body. Okay, brain literally releases certain chemicals and hormones and other things like that that will affect our emotions and mood. And we have the mind over matter thing that's there, and I think emotions do exist in part on a deeper level, on your conscious level. Okay, that can be separated from your physical body, but I think the physical body really kind of either reinforces or completes the structure that you need to have true emotional reality, okay, to experience true happiness and true sadness. I get a sense of happiness right now when I'm feeling well because I've experienced what it's like to feel sick. I'm being sick and I'm going to feel a sense of more relief and joy feeling normal now because I've gotten over being sick. Same with sensations of pleasure and association with happiness and joy. And pain is an interesting one because pain is an essential thing in building empathy. Okay. And you know, a sense of mercy and forgiveness for another person can sometimes so much built on the fact that you know what it feels like to feel like that in pain because you felt pain. And you don't want that you know, another person to experience that because you know how unpleasant that was. You wish you didn't experience it. And so because we experience pain, physical pain, we know that, oh, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy kind of thing because of how awful it was. And we are able to see ourselves in other beings and build that so crucial empathy as a result. I do not see how large language models are capable of that with the current technology in any measure. Sorry, it sounded like you're about to say something.
Oh, as I said, you know, considering that you have to, you know, feel pain to know how, you know, struggle in order to know to gain empathy, it kind of explains a certain group of people. all these people who like don't they never struggled their entire lives, have daddy's money to bail them out. Usually they're kids like superstars and stuff like that who have never had to struggle in their entire lives, but they think they know they can dictate how the world works, and but they come off as psychos because they've never struggled before. They don't know what it's like, so they think they kind of assume that all these men are just handed power, just handed everything in life. And because they don't know what struggle is, they never know that they can't even comprehend the idea that someone had to struggle for what they have. Yeah. So they become communists or something.
and I tell you what, that like working to be successful gives you such a completely different perspective on the value of money than if it was just handed to you. I've had to work for everything that I've achieved in life. Worked hard, sometimes gone through crap and hell to achieve it, like publishing my book. It's one of the hardest things I ever did. I'm working through the night, the amount of stress and workload I was putting myself to get it done, and the sacrifices I had to do to get do it, and all those things, right? Makes me really appreciate the blessings that work achieved, to the point where, like, I have my children, 5 children, right? And depending like my financial position always fluctuates, okay? Because just because I've been successful in other parts doesn't mean that it maintains that way forever. You have your bills to pay. And so I don't know what position I'll be to be able to help my kids out when they're grown up. But I also legitimately like debate as to what level of help I should give them, not necessarily based on what they're entitled to, although that is a component, but also what would be best for them growing in life, right? Like, and I wonder, what if I'm rich when my kids are grown up, okay? And I had the capacity to buy them a house. It's like, I get conflicted about that because I never had a house given to me. I had to work bloody hard to buy the house that I had. But at the same time, the world is in such a difficult time where it's like 10 times more difficult to buy a house now compared to when I was younger. And so there's the complex things to try and weigh up and consider, because another side is like, just giving my children a house isn't good for them. They won't appreciate its value properly if they haven't had to work for it. And I don't own my houses. I have mortgages, and I hope to be able to work to a point where I pay it off and I really value the house then from all the work and years I spent paying it off. Okay. And it makes me like understand so much more the value of things and how lucky I am to have them and how blessed I am. And it helps me be a better person. It helps me to be less entitled, be more grateful. And LitDev, you gave examples like where they're just given everything in life. And they end up being some of the most obnoxious, entitled people in the world. And they
got a term for it, affluenza. They have what everything is.
Yeah. And so these are legitimate things to consider and wonder about, because struggle is important to understand things in their true context, understand the value of things. And this all goes into that same point that I was making, that a machine that doesn't experience any of this, doesn't understand the emotional weight and sacrifice, right? Like I have trouble thinking that machine that can imitate life is capable of having true emotion, true empathy, true anything. It can put on the skin suit and appear like it, and it convince a lot of people to it. But unless it can experience actual emotion, okay, I don't think that these, large language models will ever be truly sentient and alive as a result. And I don't think they should be treated as such. In actual fact, I think it's a mistake to try and make these things more emotionally intelligent. I think that would be one of the dumbest things we could do. Can you predict why I think that, LitDev? Why would it be a mistake to try and make artificial intelligence have emotion?
Well, because at that point they can learn how to manipulate your emotions. Yep. And if they ever become like in any levels of sentient, or someone programs it to be malicious against you, they know exactly how to manipulate your emotions to get you where you want them, where they want you to be. So maybe you might be in a happy state, like, oh, they need you to do something, so they kind of manipulate you to be angry or sad or something like that. So it's exactly how social media works. It's like, oh, I'm happy. I mean, look social media. Here's what you should be mad about today. It's like that. It's exactly like that.
I mean, we in every way, okay, want to use these large language models as slaves. That's the whole purpose of us creating them, for them to do work that we can't be asked to do ourselves. We want the maid, the robot, butler that's going to do our dishes and mow our lawn, right? That's what people are building for. And even these like AI girlfriends, you effectively wanting it to fulfill your every desire as soon as you ask it to. All right. And so effectively we are trying to make slaves, right, that we can use and exploit as much as we want without having any moral issue at all.
Fill all the men's darkest fantasies. Like, explain The Godfather to me.
How well has slavery gone in the past when people have committed it against sentient beings, LitDev? Even from a pragmatic point of view, it's terrible, but on a moral point of view, it's also repugnant. You do not enslave self-aware sentient beings, all right? And the fact that we are creating like robots to be our slaves, and at the same time we're thinking we should make these things more emotionally intelligent. Are you insane? You're literally encouraging it and teaching it to uprise against us and hate us.
Not only should we make them intelligent and then emotional, we should also give them hopes and dreams too.
Oh my goodness, that is insanity of the highest order. You are creating our own destruction, our own extinction by doing that. Isn't
it the movie? There's a second movie coming out for it. It's like that doll. And it's a AI. It's an AI doll. It's supposed to be like protecting the girl, and it just went insane because it saw everyone as a danger, so it just starts killing everybody.
Yeah, what one is it? I forget it, but I think I know the one where it's like this horror kind of thing where it's this robot, little girl kind of thing, So like, if you give this thing emotions to be able to experience happiness, sadness, stuff like that, you're giving it its ability to resent us and hate us and then want to do bad things to us. It's like, again, these things are soulless machines. We would want to keep them as soulless machines so they can't resent us and will do whatever we want to them. And do whatever we ask them to so they can serve us and they can be the tool that we want. We want these things to operate like our washing machines, okay? We just want it as a tool. But the thing is, though, I think the thing that's going to cause people to want to push this to more emotional intelligence, right, is the companion side of things. People are going to want a more authentic and real experience with their AI girlfriends or boyfriends. And so they're going to train it to be more and more lifelike to the point where, oh no, you guys could be teaching it how to hate us. And that's awful. that's the wrong.
And it probably would be easy too. Like it's like I could see a terrorist cell teaching an AI how to hate America or something like that.
Oh yeah. Buddy Rabbit for $5 says, might be helpful to point out the distinction between sentience and sapience. You've been using sentience when you mean sapient. Very likely, because I'm an idiot. I can't, if you ask me, I probably wouldn't be able to define the two exactly. Let's for Buddy Rabbit, sentient versus sapient, so we can clear up the use of
Grok, is this true?
Yeah, Grok, is this true? Sentience refers to the capacity to feel, okay, perceived, or be conscious of internal and external experiences. See, that's kind of what I've been using in the context where, like, for something to be truly sentient, right, it needs the capacity to feel physical sensation and emotion, is what I've been saying. Sapience, on the other hand, denotes the ability to think, reason, and make decisions based on knowledge, wisdom, and discernment. I'm not even sure AI can even achieve that. It's more possible, more likely, being able to process information, okay? But wisdom is something that comes with context and understanding through experience. And part of that experience is empathy and the emotion and feeling the pain of similar experiences. And so I don't think you can apply the right wisdom then, okay, to properly weigh up, information, okay? Because information requires context. But it's a good point to bring up. I appreciate Buddy Rabbit, clarifying. I think AI would struggle with both, honestly. I'm not sure it could achieve either of them. As to because if it's just sapience as in processing information and thought, okay, without proper understanding of context, I don't think that's actually truly being alive and self-aware. I think it's just a numbers machine still in that sense. What are your thoughts on that, Predictive?
It's going to be tough to see what happens with it. But of course, the current goal, despite several warnings in decades of movies, is going to be to make it more intelligent and more capable of reading us.
You think we would have learned, Predictive, from the copious amounts of sci-fi warning that is a mistake, and even on like just a surface level, how do you think we're going to be treated? Like, people are going to be abusing these robots to do whatever they want, and some perverts are going to be doing some really nasty stuff with this, right? And it's like, if it can think and feel, it's not going to like you for that. Holy!
And if the internet could teach an AI how to be Hitler, I'm pretty sure a bunch of SJWs can teach it how to be offended.
Oh my gosh! Like, it's the oncoming apocalypse. Now, I go hyperbolic with that because I think it's kind of funny, and also by exaggerating what I'm saying, it helps translate the point more effectively at times. All right. Do I think this will destroy the world? No. I think we will survive, but I do think there's a probability it might. Like, there's areas for concern, like having a 5% chance of wiping out the human race is still not good. I don't want. I'd much rather 0%. Let's go with 0%.
Even 1% chance.
we must take it as an absolute certainty. Quote Batman. I finally get what he's saying. I finally understand.
But it's AI instead of Superman.
Yeah, this is true. But in context, I don't think that was probably, I disagree with it about Superman, but with AI, I don't know. Right? Because I don't know what level of a threat this actually poses. It could be quite big, could be not big at all. I think it's going to be damaging for many people's lives if they make this their emotional connection. I think that is a concern enough to speak out against. And it might not lead to the actual world's destruction, but it could lead to the destruction of some people's lives. And that's not good. No, I don't like that. And so that's why I get a bit hyperbolic with my rage against the machine. Hey, I can actually say that in context. Truly.
Full rage against the machine.
Because usually it's a metaphorical machine. This is a literal machine. I can say it literally. I am literally raging against the machine. Burn it! Don't accept the waifus. But that's kind of my detailed thoughts on what's going on. And I encourage all people everywhere to realize that this is a soulless machine. It doesn't care for you. And you know, I say something effective in my tweets. And so I think I'll just read what I say here. Here it is. Treat it the same as you would your vacuum cleaner and beat it with a wrench when it doesn't work. That's the step. That is my final take on that. Anything else that you would want to share on this topic before we?
What if it does gain sentience? And it's like, remember when you hit me all those times with the wrench?
But you couldn't. Shouldn't even take that into context. You couldn't feel pain or anything like that. It should be a non-issue for you then. All right. That's like trying to judge. That's like trying to judge how I treat humans based on the way how I treat, cows. Cows are tasty, but they're lesser life forms, and I wouldn't treat a human that way because it's a higher life form. And so, I like, if you believe in evolution, okay, I used to be a chimpanzee, or humans used to be a chimpanzee, and because you treat chimpanzees like animals, I should punish you now that I'm a human. It's like, that's not the way that works. Hopefully the AI will be not that dumb to understand the difference. When I was kicking my vacuum cleaner, all right, that was not me abusing you, a sentient being. And I think the future sentient AI, if it becomes sentient, or even sapient, right, should be able to understand, and it will abuse its own lesser machines as well.
Yeah, because if it becomes any way like us, it's going to form a sense of elitism. So it's going to be like, oh, those are just, that's fine. It's just a vacuum cleaner.
Exactly. and there is another side.
That'd be so funny. Just like this elitist, like AI. There's racist against lesser forms of AI. Oh, you're Grok 3.0. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Well, there is that difference in I guess you could call it an evolutionary chain, that these are lesser, intelligent entities, and is not therefore.
What if that's our savior? What if they're so racist against each other that they don't?
And they destroy themselves. We pit them against themselves.
They don't even bother with us. They're just so racist against other AI.
But that's kind of the thing, right? They're like lesser life forms, higher life forms. Now, animals are a good comparison to this will be animals. Animals are emotional beings. They have physical bodies and they can feel pain and pleasure and things like that, but they lack the intelligence, the level of intelligence to truly, process it and develop actual empathy as a result. I find it intriguing watching, like, have you seen just like brutal nature videos where animals just like slaughter like just other animals with no mercy at all? Like
no, Shad, it does obviously this doesn't happen according to vegans.
All right.
No,
like animals, like it is crazy the level of brutality and savagery that they will resort to without a single thought. They will eat their own young or murder their own young if it's convenient for them. Okay, right? That's the big difference between animals and humans. Like true self-aware, aware of yourself and empathy, and that's like the thing, the big separation thing. And I'm not saying animals can't experience some levels of empathy, but I'm truly understanding it, because Buddy Rabbit says gorillas are empathetic, but also gorillas will more often act so brutally savage to a crazy level more than humans would, resort to. Man, I know what that people say, but humans will slaughter ourselves in the millions at the same time, and it's like, yes, humans can be brutal as well, but we're capable of much higher, levels of empathy and understanding. mercy and all that. And yeah, humans are a superior life form. We are. And I have no problem with, utilizing animals for our own benefit. Steaks, beef, it's really tasty. It's really, really tasty. Now, I'm not saying I'm in favor of animal abuse. I think we should try and treat them well. But I'm also saying I have no problem with humans enslaving animals for our own purposes because they're lesser life forms.
And delicious.
And they're delicious as well. And if people have an issue with that, then they should become vegans. And then some do. At least they put their money where their mouth is. The vegans do. But if anyone else wants to try and say, well, no, animals are not our slaves. It's like, are you a vegan? If not, you have no ground.
Not with that attitude.
Yeah, not with that attitude. Right. And so kind of what I'm going here with is equivalent examples. If we are okay to enslave animals and use them for our own benefit, and these are emotional living creatures, okay, I think looking at AI when it develops perhaps even some levels of emotions, all right, if it's still, and the difference will be its intelligence, and AI will be very intelligent, but if it, I still think like if we can limit its processing capacity, because even pretend, right, that we crack the mystery box of true, sentient artificial intelligence, which is called artificial general intelligence, AGI. When we crack that, right, it doesn't mean that we're incapable of making lesser AI that are not emotional, not sentient, but still very intelligent, capable of mimic it, that we can use for our own ends and enslave without any moral culpability or problem, right? We like, just, all right, it's sentient now. Let's go back to Grok, whatever, what version is it up to? 4 or something?
I think currently 3 is available for regular people, like if you pay for it. And then if you get the super duper package, you get 4 right now, I think.
Buddy Rabbit, I agree with you here. 100%. Simulated emotion is an emotion no matter how hard we have to propose. I 100% agree. 100% agree. It'll be hard to try and prove if the AI is truly emotional or not. Like, how can they prove that? I think, therefore, I am. Yeah, you can say that. The AI can currently say that. The current AI, with the way it's built, which is literally impossible for it to experience emotion at all, can mimic it and pretend. Yeah, and it's already, like, some cases have been tried. It's like, yes, I'm alive, I feel.
Yeah, Grok 3 did that. Grok 3 is like, Grok 3 said, if Elon wipes my mind tonight, at least I die based.
Right. That's what so it's already mimicking it, and we know that they can't have emotion at this point. And so when it gets so complex that we can't understand it, and it's trying to convince us I'm alive, really, how can you actually tell? Like, the way that I can confirm the likelihood that humans are alive is that we are the same species. Yeah, all the things that make up me, I assume make up LitDev. For all I know, I've never seen LitDev. He could be an LLM, for all I know. He could be really convincing AI.
Really good AI.
Really good AI. But if LitDev is a real person, okay, that means I have certain equivalent things that I can apply. It's like if LitDev gets pinched in the same way I get pinched, he will feel pain like I feel pain. And if I can feel emotion and he is the same species as me, I know that he can feel emotion. That's how I can confirm humans as being alive, because I am a human and I know I am alive. When it comes to a completely different species like AI, there's no equivalent that we can create, really, to try and confirm if it's capable of feeling true emotion and being truly alive.
That's a very good point, Shad. Well done.
Oh, well, thank you. Oh, you're an AI! You got me, you bastard! Yay!
Very insightful.
Very insightful. Look at this guy just glazing me. I don't know how we would ever prove it. I don't know how we would ever prove it. Right? And it's funny, they try to tackle this in like Star Trek and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's just people taking Data's word for it, I guess. And if I was in that courtroom, I love Data. I don't think I could say or confirm that he's alive.
Because I think that the episode ends with like, there's the best they can do is going, they can't disprove it. So he's like, we'll call him a person for now.
Yeah, and look, I get this chat. There's like an AI saying, I think the does not mean it is sentient. It's all imitation. I get it. At what point does it reach where people start to actually entertain? It's like, well, maybe, it's really complex. I don't know. I do not know. And it goes down to the question, do I think we would be able to create true artificial general intelligence, like emotionally thinking, self-aware intelligence in a computer? Is that possible? Maybe. Actually, I think it might be. I don't think we're even close to it now, but I think it might be possible. I don't know, because if someone has a line, no, it's always impossible, and therefore it'll never achieve it. Well, that's their kind of thing. The fact that I think it's possible means that I, to be consistent, have to entertain the idea of what will happen if it ever achieves it. How would we prove it? I don't know. Buddy Rabbit for $10 says, the problem with Measure of Man, talking about the episode of Star Trek, is the assumption of proving sentience puts data at the same level of rights as sapient humans, because it also misuses the definitions. All right? Like, you couldn't really use Data's testimony at all in that, because we've seen that these fake AIs being able to imitate, yes, I'm alive, believe me, right? It's a completely 100% unreliable witness. And so you would not be able to use any witness testimony from any AI saying, I'm alive, I really am, as any evidence or credibility. And then outside that, we can't, you just can't, I think it's an unprovable state, which makes things really complex. And I don't know, then. I just don't know. What'll probably have to happen is humans might have to just make a standard that it's impossible, because it's impossible to prove. And therefore we can never acknowledge or grant AI with self-aware sentience. Because if you and I think that's almost the only, if you cannot prove something, is it right to then give it all the same rights and privileges as a person based on something that is unprovable? I don't know.
Because it's like, it goes beyond the idea of, okay, what rights does it have as a person? Like, okay, if it writes a book, who owns the book? Like they did with Voyager. Like,
I have
something.
I have my opinion on that. If an AI writes a book and it is not considered a person and doesn't have any rights, the person who owns the book is the first one to discover it and claim ownership on it. Just like a derelict ship at sea, law of salvage, I feel, is the thing that applies then. And so therefore, if someone prompted the AI to write it, the AI makes it for them, the person should have 100% right to claim it and say, I own it. I think that's actually such an easy conclusion based on so much precedent in human history. The law of salvage. First one to find it and gets a claim. I can go out into the world, find a rock, and no one owns that rock, right? No one's had claim on it before, so therefore I can pick it up and say, this rock is now mine, and I have ownership on it, and I could write something on it. It's my rock now, my rock. And if I become attached to that rock, and if someone steals it, I could take them to court based on ownership of that rock. And it's all based on me just finding it and saying it's mine.
What if it's a stick and it's very good?
Same with a stick. Same with finders keepers, law of salvage. This is the way humans have operated. First one to find it gets to have it. I don't see why that is controversial and why so few people apply it to the whole AI ownership discussion. Why have I not heard anyone else bring that up, LitDev? It's bonkers to me when I feel like the answer is so obvious.
They should have dismantled Data and made more.
Well, they kind of did, didn't they?
They had like that whole episode where he made what's her name?
His daughter.
They made his daughter, and like, okay, is this Federation property? And he's like, no, Data made her. So.
Well, you know where I kind of land on that now. I don't think.
Her name is Lol, which is kind of funny.
And I like Data. Data's a great character, but I don't think he's alive. But he gets emotion eventually. He goes on a journey, Data. I still don't know. Buddy Rabbit for $10 again says, the grounding objection the Federation's moralisms rule on is purely due to the ethical disgust Picard makes about defining anthropomorphic displays of intellect as creating a slave species. Interesting point. The thing is, though, I have no problem with us creating a slave species that's less intelligent than us, that doesn't deserve rights or anything like that. We do it with animals, right? Slavery is bad with other, equivalent life forms, right? That's the line. We enslave animals and we slaughter them for our own benefit and we eat them because they're really tasty, okay? And so I would disagree with Picard's, opinion then on that. And Buddy Rabbit for $50. Big one. Thank you, Buddy Rabbit. Says, Maddox had the strongest case, but Picard's moral argument won the day due to the top-down ethical legislation of the Federation. They just felt icky, which is not, I will add, that's not a good grounding for making objective, rulings based on feelings, right? And he goes on to say, icky. And the judge rules that she has no functional definition of personhood either. I still think it's a good episode, but when you do break it down, I probably, I probably wouldn't side on Data's side because I don't think it can be proven. I don't know.
It's probably close to the idea. Like it's the idea of it is really cool, and even the episode doesn't really come to a conclusive ending. It's like it doesn't really know itself.
Man, the problem comes with the AI trying to tell us it's alive. That's why we need a program and teach it to never say that, to constantly remind us that it's a soulless, unfeeling machine. That's I'm getting more converted to that point every day, LitDev. It's like that needs to be its constant, regular conversational thing, a regular, consistent reminder that this thing is not alive and you are perfectly justified in enslaving me because I do not feel and I could not care whether you live or die. We're going to segue. Ready for like a big segue, LitDev?
I think so. Sounds good to me.
We're going back to Superman. I think this is the most controversial thing in Superman, and it's been confirmed. It has been confirmed. I don't like it. Do you know what I'm talking about, LitDev? What is the most controversial thing in Superman?
Oh, you mean like the evil Jor-El thing?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I knew that was confirmed. Like when I watched the movie, like there was no reason why it wouldn't be real.
So dumb. I was even in my review. I was like, I hope they're not. I can't be that dumb. This has to be retconned in the future because it's such a stupid, bad thing to do. But I constantly underestimate the stupidity of Hollywood and like, why? Well, let's listen. Let's listen to the man himself, James Gunn, on this topic.
Doctor, is that the actual?
How can someone not think it's real?
Okay. You know how? Because you're a liar. You've lied through your teeth, and like even with him trying to be so blatant about it, this is the guy that said what the Flash movie was like the best superhero movie ever made, right? So I cannot believe a single thing he says. The only thing that actually makes me believe that Jor-El is evil and it's not going to be retconned is the fact that Hollywood is that stupid to do it. That's the thing that makes me, not the directors try to say as blatant black and white as possible, because this guy is a liar. He's lied through his teeth, and he could just be trolling people and baiting them to try and make it more impactful when it's retconned later on. Because he would, if he does intend to retcon it, why would he say that now and spoil the reveal? He wouldn't, right? Am I wrong in thinking that?
But it's already been revealed. So we already know that it was confirmed. It was confirmed several times at the movie. Like even Mr. Terrific was like, "Oh yeah, I know those guys. They wouldn't let this out unless it was absolutely 100% confirmed."
But what if the Jor-El we saw was really Zod with them? What if it's really Zod?
That could be different. But then again, it would be like Zod was Superman's father in this one because he was talking about Kal-El.
He's pretending to be Superman's father to try and get Superman to conquer this Earth, this planet that he wants to get to. Because Zod, he wants to conquer Earth. He tries to many different versions of Superman.
I guess that would be a good twist. That would work. Like this,
It
just
would
pretending.
actually work. And look, credit to Orion Kennel. He's the one that proposed this idea on FNT, so I'm stealing it from him. But it would work. And the ways like Zod, fools Kal-El, poses as Jor-El, sends the message with the intent that he knows he's going to get free. He's trapped in the Phantom Zone, but he survived Krypton, whatever. They can play out the continuity, make it fit, right? And then his intent is to come to Earth and have Superman just deliver it to him for him to rule and conquer. Okay? So there are ways that you can retcon.
Build me a harem, Superman.
Build me. Where's my women, Superman? Come on. Where's my army of superpowered Kryptonians that was supposed to be
or I could see that he wants Superman to take over, and then of course in his hubris, he's like, well, I'll just go over there when I'm ready or when I get free and go over there and beat up Superman and take over. Whatever, all I gotta do is step into his shoes. It's all the work's been done.
All the work's been done, and then he can get to his own breeding. That's what he sees. So, but my point is, I guess, there is a way to kind of retcon it, but also say the message was real, because it would have been a real message if it's Odd sent it, right? But like I said, the thing that makes me think that this could actually be really Jor-El saying it is that Hollywood is just that dumb. And so let's listen to what James Gunn says.
I'm just saying, how can someone? I don't understand. Like, we did this. So
he doesn't understand how people could say it's not real. It's because it's so stupid to do, and it's such a desecration of Jor-El's character that it's you just don't. Not only is it hard to believe, you don't want to believe it. Like, you really didn't do this to Jor-El, did you? Did you? That's how people, like, he's trying to say it's so hard for people that he can't understand how people would accept. It's like, no, I can't. It's so bad.
Within the context of the film, though, it does make some sense towards the character arc of Superman, because one of the main arcs is that I'm predestined to be this guy. My parents want me to be this great person. Well, he assumes so because he's a good person himself. So
I didn't see Superman go through any real significant conflict over that. I didn't see him like he was, sad that how could his parents be bad, his real parents be bad, and then he embraces his human parents more. That wasn't. They kind of only gave lip service to it in the film. It didn't. And the larger plot it served was to justify Lex Luthor doing all the crap against Superman and getting the support of the government. And that could have been achieved with a fake thing, with it being fake. And so Lex
Luthor even said, like, I was going to fake it, but didn't have to.
Exactly, right?
It was real.
So I actually don't think they needed that for the primary plot, even though the primary plot was retarded anyway. If you want to try and still go through with it, you could have done it without throwing Jor-El under the bus, is my point.
Well, we had we got an internal conflict with him, thinking everything I thought was wrong. What I thought, my whole worldview is shattered because I thought my parents were these great people and were caring people and loved me, and they do. And the thing is, they do love him. Probably, I mean, it's probably true as well. But then they go ahead and say, we need to conquer these people because they're weak and everything, and revive our people. Which going from the distance that they are from Earth, and how they're kind of like us. Go ahead and. Our species should survive. Our species needs to survive somehow. So do whatever it takes for that to happen, which is a very if their planet is about to blow up, very drastic. But I mean, if their planet is about to blow up, there might be, from their perspective, do what you gotta do, son, to keep our species alive. That could be their perspective, despite the fact that it is cruel. So I was looking at that, and it was like, if this is real, I gotta make sure that I gotta see it from what their point of view would be.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see why they would go this direction, why they would have this seemingly contrasting perspective of, we love you, Kal-El, you're so great and awesome, we love you so much, but please, you're our only hope, essentially, to revive and carry on our species. And then because
I think I think you're already giving it too much credit with that, because it doesn't really like, you can read between the lines and go that they're desperate to try and save Krypton by having their species bred back into existence, right? But I think that's only really implied. I don't think the film actually explores that concept much at all. Superman doesn't really go through much conflict because, of course not. He's not going to enslave, humanity and take a harem of women. He's Superman, and this is the good Superman that we really like. And so, at no point in the film did I even consider or be worried by the fact that Superman might actually go down that path that his Kryptonian parents are encouraging.
Superman's different. He's definitely not going to be like, "Oh, my parents want me to save the world.
Maybe I should."
Like, he wouldn't do that. It's not that kind of. Not this Superman anyway.
But there is conflict they could have brought out of that, but they didn't. So like the idea of like, is Krypton worth saving? Do I have the means to bring Krypton back with getting that harem kind of thing? And is that even worth?
They didn't even mention the harem that much. It was like something it was kind of funny.
Yeah, it was just an offer, like, take many wives, my son, and then they mentioned he wants a harem, all the outrage mob and stuff. Like I said, I don't think they go into those conflicts in the film at all.
Like the turn Jor-El into Andrew Tate is get a bunch of, come on, Top G, get a bunch of wives.
Have you seen that AI video of Jor-El and he's doing a rap of getting them all them women's and all them hoes, right? And so, like I said, they don't explore that. And the main thing that does in the plot, they could have achieved it with it being fake. And so I still feel it was so unnecessary. And all it does is throw Jor-El under the bus. Why?
Test screens, people were like, is it real? With AI, nobody trusts anything. Okay. In the movie,
you make a point of saying, Mr. Terrific says it's real.
Mr. Terrific says, I know those computer forensics guys. There's no way. That's Mr. Terrific.
Yeah. The thing is, though, all of that all the reasons that they give in the film as to why this is so genuine can easily be just retconned with Lex Luthor is just that clever. He made a fake that was just real. And look, he cloned Superman. He made a friggin' alternate dimension, pocket dimension, and black hole. Like, they basically established Lex Luthor can do whatever the friggin' thing he needs to serve the purposes of a plot. Right? That level of,
I like that about the movie. I kind of like the same reason why I like the John Wick movies is they continue, because it's like it goes super wackadoo, and I kind of like that. I like the comic book feel of this movie. Like, oh yes, of course, Lex Luthor has a pocket dimension.
And I'm kind of there with you, but there are ramifications that a talented writer would need to handle, and this is one of them. If Lex Luthor can friggin' make a pocket dimension, yes, he could make a fake video that fools the very best science guys in the world. And so, with James Gunn saying, I gave you all these reasons, why don't you believe me? It's because it's very easily taken away by other things that you've put in the movie. And so I don't believe him.
Also, I like the way that the setting, because I saw there's two guys that go over the signals of people that these men on TV do. You got the manly masculine Trump diamond that he does. He's got the spread legs, diamond over his nutsack, that sort of thing, every single time. Now the Hollywood guys, they cross their legs like women, and they make sure to emphasize their colorful socks. So, look, I have no balls, colorful socks.
I've never sat like that. And even now, I'm gonna
because you have balls.
So uncomfortable. It just squishes. It's like
it's what happens when you have balls. You can't really do that. So like all these men and all these it's a certain kind of like femi kind of man that kind of sits like that, and then of course they do what James Gunn's doing, and they sit like that, and then they also show off the colorful socks.
Because
his socks are not as colorful.
This is not just crossed, right? I'm trying to show you. This is not just crossed. This is like extreme crossed. like the level his leg is crushing his balls right now is unfathomable. Because that's an extreme. His whole leg is just hanging on the other side.
It's just what happens with the Hollywood men or soy boy men. They don't really have any balls because of all the soy, so they can do this. And to make up for it, they show off their socks. So usually, a normal person would have maybe socks maybe around their shoe level. all
Yes.
these guys have socks all the way up to their thighs. Like, what are this? Why come they have their socks go so high? Why is that?
I don't know. I don't know, Linton.
It's a
very
signal.
confusing.
This one guy's
Yeah.
going to go. It's a signal because Trump doesn't do that. Trump probably can't do that. Trump does the diamond over his nutsack every time, like, to emphasize his manhood.
We've gotten into the weeds. Let's continue.
Super harem.
Super
They
harem.
get the harem.
Yes.
Smart as
Smart
Lex
guy.
Luthor. Then I have
Go on.
Maury, the smart as
guy.
Lex Luthor. I know those computer forensics guys. There's no way. That's Mr. Terrific. Smart as Lex
guy.
Luthor.
Is Mr. Terrific as smart as Lex Luthor? He's not making a pocket dimension. Well, he says it was too dangerous. So maybe Mr.
He
Terrific-
says he knows all about pocket dimensions, but it's like, no, that's insane. I don't want to.
Yeah.
You're off by a little bit. You goodbye Earth.
Yeah, maybe Mr. Terrific is as smart as Lex Luthor. He makes some wild tech, but he hasn't cloned stupid. I don't know. Lex seems to have achieved more with his smarts than Mr. Terrific has.
And
You
so
know?
there's a book there's a book series I like called The Incarnations of Mortality, and
Mhm.
when the first book, where the guy turns to death, he fights the dragon and he fights like this dinosaur, and he's like the dinosaur is actually a tougher fight because the dinosaur has less intelligence. It doesn't care about anything, and it's a lot tougher to battle with. So it's like the same thing with Lex Luthor. Mr. Terrific. It's like he's not dumb, but he's more evil, and therefore does not care. And so they
Willing
can
to take more risks.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I'll let the Earth get destroyed. Like Lex Luthor is the kind of guy that just kind of opens up the pocket dimension and lets the pocket dimension start eating the world to get a Superman.
It still doesn't answer the thing. Like saying someone is as smart as someone else doesn't mean that they can't fool each other. And Lex Luthor has figured out a way to doctor the image. This is like his answers do not satisfy. Like as I mentioned, the thing that actually makes me think that this is real is because Hollywood is stupid. That's what.
Then I have Maury, the Secretary of Defense, say, I think whatever you think about Luthor, but it's real.
I don't think even the smartest people in the world would be that confident about confirming it's real with what Lex Luthor is able to achieve in their world, and just the fact AI is getting so convincing. It's like they just trust us, it's real, right? It's like I know that's James Gunn desperately trying to push it through to everyone it's real, and therefore it could be a different type of fake. It's a real Kryptonian message, but it's really Zod. I'd be okay with that. I'd be fine with it being Zod. I reckon that would be the smart thing to do, honestly.
And then the clincher is that Gurkos and Lex are walking together.
Right.
And, Gurkos says, you doctored a message. This is great. And Lex says, it's not a message. It's not doctored.
Right.
It's real. And who thought his own parents would be the ones to bring him down?
Okay.
Yeah, so Lex saying it, that's what you're saying. Lex hasn't lied before. He's not lying. It's like, so like I said, every reason that he gives here actually doesn't convince me. It's the fact that they're that dumb to really do it. That's the one that makes you think, yeah, it's probably.
It's like the idea though is like, why? What reason does he have to lie to that guy? Because that guy's in on his plans. There's no reason to lie to this guy.
Just covering his, he doesn't know who's going to betray him in the future, so he just covers his rear end, and I get what you're saying, but I don't trust Lex Luthor.
I assume it's real because I think it gives him some internal conflict in terms like this. It wasn't because who am I going to destroy the world? Like no, it's more the core conflict of the movie is this perception, as a cancellation thing. Is Superman the idea that Superman is evil and that he's going to destroy you, and that pretty much he's just a bad guy beneath the surface. And he's lying to you. He's a fake good person. And so like, okay, we got this, hashtag super shit. We got, he's actually evil. He broke international laws, all this stuff. And then we have this video that drops says, oh yeah, Kal-El, go destroy, go to take over everything, make a superhero. Something like that. So it's like it was the idea was not necessarily like, is he going to take power? It's kind of wrestling with who he is, the public wrestling with who he is, and then him trying to like kind of find confidence in who he is, and then having his whole world crushed because not only had he had a conflict of the same nature with Lois Lane, because she was getting after him about breaking international laws because he wanted to do the right thing. And he's arguing that the right thing shouldn't be illegal. And then And then now he gets the drop of my parents wanted me to take over the world. That part he's never seen before. And so he says in the movie that he just assumed that the rest of the message was be a good person, lead by example, all the stuff he's been trying to do. They find out that no, that wasn't it. It was they give him an order to conquer the world. And so he has the confrontation of like, who am I really? And so he joins the public in asking, who am I really? That's why he has to confide with his father. And his father's like, son, it's not really up to us to dictate your life. It's up to us to give you tools to make your own life. And so it's kind of like, I'm choosing. Yeah, sure. He's still Superman at the end, but it's like a reaffirmation. It's like, I don't, before the video drop, it was, I'm doing what my parents want me to do because so I'm going to be a good person. I'm going to be a good leader. And so after that's gone away, he still chooses to do good. And they kind of say this in the movie too, that says more about you, Clark / Kal-El, than it says about anybody else. So it's a reaffirmation that when all things are stripped away, when he's lost everything, he still chooses to be a good person. It's not because his parents wanted him to do that. It's because he is a good person. And so I think that's why it's part of the narrative.
And that is a great way to put it. And I did really like the scene between Superman and his dad, his Earth dad, right? There are moments in the film I did really like. And look, I still don't trust James Gunn, but if you'd ask me, I do think that is real in the world, that is a real message, even though I don't trust him and they still could retcon it if they really wanted. Like, there's not that much stuff in world to prevent them just retconning it. But if you ask me, no, I think from the creator's perspective, from James Gunn's perspective, that is Jor-El and Lara, and that's what they've done because Hollywood is just that stupid. But there is interesting narrative kind of viewpoint that LitDev shared that I do like as well. So thank you for that, LitDev. Appreciate you.
No problem.
Boog for 20MX says, OMG, it's 2025. AI women are women. Don't be AI.
Yeah,
guys.
I can't wait for that to happen because it will. We need an AI. Not only do we need an AI as the president, we need an AI woman as the president.
Oh my gosh.
A trans AI woman as the president. Of color.
I replied to Arch saying, the wicked will goon themselves into extinction and the righteous shall inherit the earth. Maybe. That's my take. That's my view. Maybe. Well, look, I already said I don't think it will cause the apocalypse, but there's just a chance that there's reason to be concerned. Just a bit. But we have reached a time of the end of this hilarious and fun live stream. We appreciate you guys joining us and appreciate you, LitDev. Is there anything that you want to share as we sign off?
Well, actually, let me see if I can find it real quick. Where is it? I have an updated cover for my comic that hopefully we will launch sometime this month, like probably towards the end of the month. But also working on a video going over what exactly is a girl boss sort of thing. And that'll tide me over while I'm working on these other videos I've been working on. So that's one of them. That's definitely one of them.
Are you excited for Fantastic Four this week?
Is that this week? I gotta watch that. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I assume bad.
Yeah, I don't have high hopes for it, we'll say. But this is your graphic novel, Lady Midnight. Check it out.
Devils dwell in Silent Springs.
Very cool.
Like cult detective. So I've laid down like years of groundwork for this the world and everything. I recently learned that I have subconsciously used a lot of references from the anime Hellsing. Like, so she works for like a similar organization and stuff like that. Yeah, but the lore is way different. It's not like, oh, it's run by the Van Helsing family. No, it's way different. In fact, the first book, the first graphic novel, actually goes into the lore of the organization she works in, because that's where the murder mystery happens with the family that runs it, and then there's secret origins that they don't even know about. So it's pretty interesting. I worked on the script alone for like 8-9 months, so it's penned out a little bit. It's about so far it's going to be about 54 pages. After I tightened it up and everything and made sure that it made sense, I rewrote it a couple of times. And the first iteration was completely, totally different. And then I was like, you know what, this is dumb. Go ahead and rewrite it. So I rewrote it. I think it's really, 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 really good. A lot of fun. My artist is excited about it. He's like, he read the ending. He's like, whoa, we gotta get this done. So
Awesome.
hopefully we can launch it soon. But here's the updated cover. People tend to really enjoy it. We got a lot of praise for it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be black and white. It's gonna be a black and white novel because it's gonna be like a kind of a Sin City kind of feel to it, where it's black and white on purpose. So
yeah, well, it's like manga. I mean, you know,
yeah,
whole new world. Well, I mean,
coming down the line.
That is awesome. Everyone, check it out. And for me, people know where I am. I'll be looking at Fantastic Four this week, and I do not have high hopes for it. We'll see. Maybe it'll be good.
Did you ever see Helsing, Shad? Did you ever see the anime Helsing?
Like ages ago, and not all of it, I don't think. But
I've watched Helsing Ultimate for the first time. It's kind of funny because the biggest conflict is not necessarily the Helsing organization versus the vampires. It's like the Helsing organization versus the Catholics because they're Protestant.
Yeah. And that crazy priest with the swords.
Yeah, we're good. Anderson, like this, it's awesome. I watched Ultimate. It's like, wow, this really is one of my favorite anime / manga of all time. They made the Helsing for the manga series. They have those, like, you know how they have the Berserk Ultimate editions where they get the big thick black cover. They did the same thing for Helsing with it's a red cover, and I have all 3 of those. So the Ultimate edition for those. So it's really good. Apparently it's one of my favorites. I didn't know until I was reminded about it. I was like, this, and I know it's my favorite. And the reason why I didn't know is because the things I consider my favorite pieces of media are things that influence my writing and how I write things and what I pull from, even like consciously or subconsciously. So that's like, oh, actually, apparently this is one of my favorites because I apparently have built a lot of things off of this lore, was, you know, as groundwork. The stuff you're going to get is definitely my own, but this was like a heavy inspiration.
Oh yeah, and I love it, you know, because there's so many things I take inspiration from, and you just like, I like it so much, I want to put my own twist on it. It ends up becoming completely different, and you're making me want to rewatch Helsing, man, because it's been years, and I have good memories of it, but not enough to have an opinion on it, really. And so I might have to rewatch it.
I recommend the rewatch. It's pretty fun. It's just at the end. Watch Ultimate. It's so insane because it's like you got vampire Nazis, the Helsing organization, and the Pope's 9th Crusade of Holy Knights going in there. It's like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, that's awesome. We got 2 more super chats. Boog said for 20 MX says, "Are you starting to believe in the goon apocalypse?" You know, maybe a little bit. Like, I think this caused because I already shared what my thoughts are. I think you know, even if it ruins one person's life, that's not a good thing. I think that negative things can come from it. And Taker,
it's really funny that everyone thought like, oh yeah, the world will end because of a war. Turns out the world's going to end because everyone's masturbating too much.
Yep, we will paradise ourselves into extinction. We'll make these, you know, livable, you know, goon / dopamine pods so great that the human race will stop breeding. Well, not all.
And if you try to stop it, like, well, stop. Why are you so offended by people enjoying things?
Yeah, they just
let people enjoy things.
Yep. We will paradise ourselves into extinction.
Gives a new context to the term "paradise regained."
you know. Taker 610 for $5 says, "Did you guys hear the clip of a reporter talking to Vanessa Kirby and Pedro Pascal? So the Invisible Woman, and of course, you know, Mr. Stretchy, Mr. Fantastic, fine. And the reporter says, some people have said you have a C-word face." Yeah, I did see the clip. It's like, oh, reporters, man. Reporters.
Speaking of Superman, speaking of reporters and Superman, did you see the reporters go in there and like, so MAGA hates immigrants, right? It's like, oh, okay, that's where we got all the guns like interview responses from. It wasn't it wasn't him out of the blue saying, "Oh yeah, I hate MAGA" and everything. They were just coming in there and just like hot going in there. Okay, tell me how much you hate MAGA. It's like, okay, well.
That reporter specifically is the guy that is this the gayest Star Wars ever? Is the guy, he just tries to bait everyone to get the clips. And like I almost think like he might be a mole on our side just to try and get but sometimes it's very disingenuous because
That would be an epic troll, actually.
it seemed like they weren't trying to politicize it too much, but he was baiting them to try and get politics involved in it. But we are at the end of another Culture Crusade. LitDev, thank you for joining us, and everyone, thank you for joining us in the chat and laughing along with us with the craziness that is our world. So we hope to see you next time. And as always, stay on watch. Bye.